Deported U.S. military veterans. It almost sounds like an oxymoron, but believe it or not, a large number of former military service men and women have been deported. Tonight in a Fox 40 special report, Joe Khalil brings us a story of a community of deported vets and how they're working together to offer each other support in the most unlikely of circumstances.
At this cemetery in Madera, California, flags mark the resting places of the town's sons and daughters who've served in the military. Yet some 400 miles away in Tijuana, Mexico, one of Madera's own, former Private First Class Andres de Leon, legally can't even visit the site where he hopes to be laid to rest. Not until he's in a coffin. Did you feel betrayed?
In a way, yes. I feel that they did me wrong because I risked my life for Uncle Sam just so they can, then in the end I get deported.
Yes, a veteran, deported. At 18, in the throes of the Vietnam War, De Leon enlisted in the Army. After 12 years of service, he was honorably discharged.
Okay, this is my home.
Today, at 72, De Leon lives alone in a small one-room house in one of the poorer pockets of Tijuana.
I got no choice. I was deported and I have to stay here, but I'm doing the best I can.
The path that led De Leon to this point begins where his story will end, in Madera, California, with his family.
He wants to come home with his kids, his grandkids, the family.
De Leon's sister Elizabeth worries about his health. He's a type 2 diabetic.
That worries me very much, that something might happen to my brother and I'm gonna be torn apart.
Their parents came to Madera legally from Mexico when De Leon was 12. The veteran's most trying battle wouldn't be waged until decades later, following the death of his mother.
He would take my mom everywhere. That really pushed him to the edge.
De Leon fell into a deep depression, and at age 63, he got hooked on heroin. Eventually arrested for possession, he served almost 3 years. Near the end of his term at Soledad State Prison, Immigration Customs Enforcement agents told him he wouldn't be returning home.
I said, what? He said, they're going to deport me. I said, no, they can't.
October 2009, an immigration judge ordered De Leon deported to Mexico, a country he hadn't seen in more than 50 years.
I was in shock. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe that they would deport a veteran with an honorable discharge.
3 generations later, all these De Leons have of their grandfather are stories. How old is your youngest son now?
He's now 8 years old.
So in his 8 years, he's never
seen him, he's never spoke to him, he's never held his hand.
In Tijuana, De Leon had no friends, no family. He spent his first few weeks homeless. If you knew that you were going to be deported, would you have enlisted at all in the military?
I don't think so. No, you're gonna did me wrong, no.
De Leon assumed he was the only U.S. military veteran deported to Tijuana until he met Hector Barajas.
I basically opened up my doors for veterans that were deported.
A former paratrooper in the 82nd Airborne, Hector, who grew up in L.A., was also living deported in Tijuana and knew dozens of veterans like De Leon. In 2013, he founded this Deported Veterans Support House.
We believe that none of these men should be left behind. We talk about supporting the troops. Let's keep supporting these men, treat these men with honor.
There are an estimated 100,000 people deported from the U.S. living in Tijuana right now. Now, there's no government agency that keeps track of how many of those people are veterans. Hector just anecdotally thinks that there are a couple of hundred, if not more than 1,000. 15 vets have come through the support house so far for food, temporary housing, sometimes just to feel they belong. Do you feel like you're a family here?
Something like that, yes.
Are you here every day?
Yeah, well, yeah, just about.
De Leon is resigned to the possibility that he may never again see the United States. But both he and Hector know they're entitled to a proper veteran's burial.
I've been told that the only way I can return is dead. So if death is the only way I can return, I would like to be buried with my friends in the Catholic Cemetery of Madera, California.
Why would they honor us only when we die? They're going to give an American flag to our families and say thank you for your service to your country. If you want to honor our men, you want to honor our veterans, let them get their treatment, let them live with their families.
Both Hector and the De Leon family continue to fight for deported veterans' rights, hoping that the next time they see De Leon on American soil, it won't have to be here. Joe Khalil, Fox 40 News.
We reached out to Immigration Customs Enforcement. Because of privacy concerns, a spokesman said they cannot comment on any specific cases, but they acknowledged that immigration judges do take someone's military service into account when deciding to deport someone. In a statement, ICE says in part, and I quote them here, "Any action taken by ICE that may result in the removal of an alien with military service must be authorized by the senior leadership."